We have no.
Great to see you.
Good to see you, Lisa. How is your show so far?
Wonderful.
What are you seeing this year?
I think one of the biggest changes has been how much more mainstream emerging technologies has become this year, even over last year.
Right. We are used to having Alexas in our home. We are used to having apps on our phone, and it feels as though artificial intelligence and app-based, business applications,
Sure.
but they feel the same as your Facebook app. There's a certain proximity to,
Yes.
to what we're able to handle. Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about something else?
Well, I think it's certainly artificial intelligence. I was on a panel this morning where we discussed blockchain.
Yeah.
And OSCRE announced this morning through a press release here our first blockchain initiative. So we're really excited about that. And I think a big part of that is looking at how fast that particular technology is being implemented in other industries, particularly in the fintech world, that's so clearly intertwined with real estate.
Did you say the FitTech world?
Fintech, the financial and technology world. So when you look at how fast the integration is happening there and the new platforms that are being developed, like through the R3 collaboration, which is a group of nearly 80 of the largest financial institutions, and the Corda project, which is a new platform that they've delivered, it certainly made sense that somebody needed to step forward to try and address that need in the real estate industry, and that's what we intend to do. It's I guess, as you look at the continuum from the Internet of Things to the Internet of Finance to the Internet of virtually everything, we've made a tremendous amount of progress, but as an industry, I think we've been fairly slow to recognize the impact that these changes will have.
I mean, blockchain is a particularly controversial technology in that it threatens to disrupt a lot of people's way of doing business, right? Brokers, escrow. What do you say to these people who feel threatened by this?
I think that the best way to address the threat is to be proactive as an industry and explore how this technology particularly can be implemented rather than wait for other industries to advance, and then we essentially end up having to accept whatever it is the other industries have come up with.
Can you envision a future in which I, Jerry, decide to sell you, Lisa, a building, and over lunch and 5 minutes of lining up all of our blockchain assets, it just happens?
It's already happened.
Where is it happening?
It's happened both in other countries, and it's already happened here. The R3 collaboration I was talking about, they have had many pilot projects. They've transferred property that way. They've also, interestingly, transferred title to a car.
Right.
So it's here, and I think as you look at what our organization has been focused on, which is the development and implementation of standards for the real estate industry, you can't have effective data governance without the presence of standards, and you can't develop emerging technologies without having effective data governance. So the conversation about standards has really become even more relevant than it ever was before.
Absolutely. I mean, if OSCRE could really be the force out in front of this, you could revolutionize, the entire real estate industry. Give me a moment, I have to sneeze. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. In what other ways what other technologies are you seeing here that OSCRE is trying to either take a lead in or get its standards around?
Sure. The first foray of a project is going to be blockchain. I expect that we'll be following with machine learning and artificial intelligence, and certainly others as well. You can't really talk about real estate anymore without looking at the impact that these technologies have. And one of the things that became apparent to us was there was generally a lack of training and education available to help organizations, and certainly individuals that work with them, to develop effective data governance practices within their organizations. So one of the things that we've recently launched is the OSCRE Academy, with a program focused on data governance, in order to make it one with very limited barriers to participation. We created 10 one-hour modules that will be delivered live via webinar, so there's no need to travel. Oh. They'll be scheduled 3 to 4 weeks apart, and it'll be a building block presentation so that students can learn in that 1 hour segment. We're not trying to make them experts by any stretch.
Right.
And then they can apply it in the next 3 to 4 weeks and then come back, and we continue to advance so that as we move through the 10 various modules, they include things like building an information-enabled business, doing a self-assessment on your organization's readiness for effective data governance, change management, and of course emerging technologies will be one of the modules as well. And we're very excited. Some of the brightest minds in the industry will be facilitating these sessions.
Really? That's it's so ambitious. It really feels... this by no means casts aspersion on anything prior to this point, but boy, do you guys sound like you're on fire right now. Is there am I correct in intuiting that excitement?
I don't think I could have said it any better myself, Jerry,
yeah.
and thank you for the compliment.
Sure.
We've been fortunate that we have some new leaders within our organization that are really, I would say, both insightful and strategic in their thinking, that see the importance of how these technologies not only promote the implementation of standards, but really advance the industry. So I am truly grateful for their leadership in supporting these initiatives that we have going forward this year and certainly into the future.
What is it about leading OSCRE that gives you satisfaction?
I think having been in the real estate business for more than a few years, I would have to say the ability to work in a collaborative environment with people that truly want to make a difference in one of the most important industries in the world. When you look throughout developed countries, particularly, real estate is the leading economic indicator. And for us, we are to a large degree in what I call the Star Trek world this year, in looking at blockchain initiatives that are focused on real estate, in building the first data governance program that's focused on real estate, and really, finally, I think getting to the point where a lot of the industry that perhaps looked at standards as not necessarily their first choice in terms of what they'd like to be involved with, but can truly connect the dots more effectively in how standards can really improve the quality of the data that drives your business, that improves performance, and ultimately, at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. No matter who you talk to here, every organization is interested in figuring out how they can improve their organization's performance.
Well, thank you for making, through OSCRE and your hard work, making it possible for all of these organizations to do what it is that they and we do. It's necessary and most appreciated.
And we welcome them.
Yeah, so please, if you make sure that it's OSCRE.org, is that correct?
OSCRE.org, OSCRE.org.
If you don't know, now you know. Lisa, thank you so much for being part
Thanks, Jerry.
of this.
It's a pleasure as always.
Wonderfully illuminating, and we look